Today I'm cooking something different. I'm doing some polpette, or if you like, mini burgers using lentils. I'll start with the lentils because I've already pre-cooked them. Here they are, look. You can also use tinned lentils. In the past people have asked me, can you use tinned lentils? Absolutely, make sure that they are properly drained. These ones here, I soaked them overnight for 8 hours, and this morning I added a bay leaf, a little salt, cover them in water and let them cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. Some people have actually asked me if it's necessary to cook them or indeed pre-soak them. So you need to cook them, of course, if they're dry. Not necessarily, and lentils is one of those things that you do not necessarily have to pre-soak. However, do read the instructions of your packaging, because if they need to be pre-soaked, obviously that will be stated in your packaging. But the difference being, even if they do not need to be pre-soaked, if you do soak them overnight, they'll become a lovely and tender, and they will cook faster, and they'll taste a little bit more softer when you eat them. So they're ready, and I've allowed them to cool down. I've drained all of the water, and I'll start on some of the other ingredients, and then I can show you the process. I got a large frying pan on the go here, large because I will be also cooking some greens, and I've just applied a little olive oil, and this is a small onion, and everything is kind of small in terms of quantity because I'm making little polpette, but I'm going to chop this very, very finely. So here it is. Also, alongside my onion, I already peeled a couple of cloves of garlic, and I'll chop them in little round circles, just like this, about 1 millimeter in thickness. Hob comes on, and I'll add them immediately. And I'll turn this on a medium temperature. In the meantime, I'll get hold of some chard, which I have picked this morning from the garden, and has been soaking in water so that it washes properly. And I'll give it a good rinse. And Julie was asking me, Julie's here with me, by the way. Some people have been missing her and say, where is Julie, where is Julie? So she's decided to join me today. So she saw my big Chinese knife, and she said to me, I can never understand why you use such a big knife. That's why, because when you're doing jobs like this, it comes really, really handy. What do you use? Do you have a knife like this?
Well, I've managed for something much smaller for many, many years, dear. I just think you like the size of that thing.
I know.
You think you're a proper chef when you use that, that's what it is.
No, I don't. Quite the opposite. So it's important that you chop the vegetables nice and fine, and I'm going to add them on top of my onion and garlic. And here is another advantage of using a knife like this. Look, you can just use it to scoop things up. Wonderful.
I will give you that.
See, she's already started. When I cook without Julie, I can do what I like, I can say what I like. There is nobody to actually put me in my place. When Julie is with me, she keep telling me off, or keep telling me, oh, you're not doing this right.
That is such a lie. Why are you so mean to me?
No, I'm not mean. Actually, I'll turn this down so you can hear me. My daughter and I, and Gabriella, have an ongoing joke, because on one of the videos we made, I think it's the lentils video. It was a lentil video we made back in January this year, and on a few occasions Julie corrected my English. And the reason why she corrected my English is because for years she's been doing that, especially with my reports and so on. I work in finance, and I used to write reports, and she used to grammatically check them. And there was a person, I think it was a woman, Julie made some comments, and she said, oh, this woman is really annoying. And then she made another comment, oh, here comes that annoying woman again. So we always laugh about that. Do you find Julie annoying? I don't, of course I don't. I think she's great.
Yeah.
We're too lazy to go up to the house, so I'm gonna use this big cover here. Actually, it's perfect. Look, it fits perfectly.
Not bad at all.
To cover the vegetables so they cook quicker. So I've got my bowl on the scales, and I'm going to be using about 500 grams of lentils. Whenever I cook lentils, by the way, I always make more than what I need. Like, I cannot see, Julia. You'll have to tell me the measurement. I always make more than what I need, because they're really, really good for you, and generally I end up with some then I sprinkle on salad, or sometimes I just have them as they are. As I added a little salt to this, They will be just delicious. All I need to do is to add some olive oil. Where are we?
Yeah, literally 5 grams off.
5 grams off.
5 grams off.
There you go. Okay, so that should be 500 gram-ish.
Yeah.
So these are ready. Cheese next, and I'm going to use Italian cheese, but you can use any cheese you like, by the way, as long as it's nice and melty sort of cheese. So this is Primo Sale, some cheese that I brought back from Sicily, and I've been using it.
One of my favourites.
I've been using it recently, and it has got a little bit of a salty taste, a bit like a very mild pecorino, if you know what pecorino tastes like. But the difference is that it's quite soft, it's not as hard as pecorino, and it will melt very nicely. Of course, also you can use mozzarella, or you can use provolone, if you know what that is. It's another typical Italian cheese. Or if you have got access to cheddar, for example, or Gouda or Edam, use those also. But if you use cheddar, for example, make sure that it's mature. Not necessarily extra mature, but mature cheddar, so that it gives a little bit of oomph, to use a good English word. So this is my Primo Sale, and I will complement the mildness of my Primo Sale with some saltness coming from some Parmigiano. So again, you can use pecorino, and I'm combining 2 types of cheese because one is milder, the other one is a little bit stronger, so they balance each other out and they taste both very nice. Perfect. And here I've got a very generous handful of parsley, not basil. You can use basil, by the way, you don't have to just use parsley, which Julia has very kindly picked from the garden. And including the stems, I'll just methodically go through, and I'll chop it inside, and I will add to my ingredients. And you can use as much or as little as you like, but you put some in, or put some herbs in. Also you can use rosemary. Here, this is what rosemary looks like, if you've never seen one before. It's also very good, but if you do use rosemary, make sure that you chop in little pieces, otherwise it can be quite annoying.
It's a little bit woody, isn't it?
It is a little bit woody, yes. So we're done with the cheese. Next I'll move on to the eggs. A couple of eggs, and I'll just put them in as they are, white and yolks included. I'm not going to add any salt because I've already salted the lentils and there is plenty going on with the cheese. However, I will add a generous amount of ground pepper. This is black pepper, but of course you can use any pepper you like, or no pepper. Do ensure you keep your vegetables on a medium heat, otherwise they could burn. However, I think they're nearly there. If you take a look, the chard has considerably reduced and shrunk in size. Oh, by the way, I should have said that you're not limited to using chard, if you can see me. You can also use spinach if you like, including frozen spinach. Now this is very optional, you don't have to, but you do not have to add it, but if you do, it will add a degree of sweetness which is absolutely lovely. Some tomato puree, about one dessert spoon that is, and just before I turn it off, actually I'll turn it off now, and I'll mix it in. If you see, I'm not actually cooking it, I'm just ensuring that it releases its beautiful flavour with my chard, and I'll leave this now to cool down for about 3-4 minutes until it's warm, so that it doesn't cook my eggs. So I'll see you in about a few minutes. By the way, if you want to know when your vegetables are cooked, you will see that they've shrunk quite a lot, but if like me you are cooking the stems from chard, just test it, and they are a little bit al dente, so they are perfect, but make sure that they are small, because obviously we're going to be making some polpette, and this is cool enough for me to be able to add it to my mix without the risk of cooking the eggs now. And I'm keeping the pan as it is. I'm not going to wash it, as I will be using to cook the polpette later, so there is no need. And actually it's quite good because it's got some beautiful flavor. So my very last ingredient or ingredients is going to be some breadcrumbs.
Chocolate, how lovely.
Chocolate, yes. Chocolate, no it's not, it's breadcrumbs. And I'm going to be adding 3 to start with. And the reason why I've left them for last is because that is something I can use to moderate the texture and consistency. And I'm going to delve in with my hands, but before I do that, I will add also a little olive oil. And between the eggs and, oh thank God, that's quiet now. I've got this fan in my thing and makes such a noise. So I'm going in with my hands and I'll start mixing everything together. And I'll be able to see the consistency, what it's like, and then establish if that is good enough for me to make some polpette. I'm going to ask Julie to help me and add some more breadcrumbs whilst I mix it. Julie, do you mind? So that I don't have to wash my hands. And at the moment it's a little bit too liquidy, so it's not good enough. So another couple, please.
Sorry if the camera wallops a bit.
There you go. Okay, we've decided that there are enough breadcrumbs and I don't want to make it too bready, but it's still not the consistency I want, so I'm going to add another egg. And there we go, egg number 3 goes in and I'll mix it in, and I'm comfortable now that it will be good enough. Effectively the egg and the cheese, they act as my glue agents. And this is very good actually. I'm very pleased with it. It's a little bit sloppy, but that's that's fine. It's a technical word, sloppy. So now the next job is to decide how big are you going to be making your polpette. Some people make them this big, some people make them half. I've got quite a lot here, so I've decided that actually I'm going to make them almost like burger size, but a lot thicker. Of course, the thicker you make them, the longer it will take to cook. So just flatten them up a little bit like a very small pancake, like this. Make sure that you got the right consistency. I've added more olive oil at the bottom of my pan, turned it on medium, and I'll start cooking them. So I'll just place them inside. Doing sure that the oil has got some heat underneath before you start, of course. And this might not look very elegant, but the benefit of home cooking, of course, is the taste, not necessarily the look. And actually, I think they look fabulous, but some people might not agree with me. Okay, so I've managed to place 5 inside my pan. I'll turn the temperature up on medium now, rather than low, as you do need some heat underneath, and doing sure that you got enough olive oil at the bottom. And I'll leave them untouched, doing their own thing, otherwise I'll mess them about, and the egg will obviously help binding them together. And it will take about 5 minutes, and then I'll turn them around and I'll show you what they look like. And they smell really good, by the way.
They do.
So to turn them around, let me give you a little tip. Get a couple of spatula. One of the spatulas, turn it the other way around and place it at the back of your call it a burger, and then gently go underneath with the other one, and then flip it so that it is on top of your spatula, just like this, and you're using the back of your spatula as a way to help you, and then just slide it down. And because the egg, as I mentioned before, is your glue agent, it's kept everything beautifully together. I'll do it again with this one here, and then you will see what I mean. Flip it, and look how beautiful they look. Beautiful crust, and they are almost ready. And the only thing to cook, if you think about it, is the egg, because everything actually is cooked. So I'll flip them all, I'll do the others, and then I'll show you what they look like at the end. And that's the last one, and do ensure that you've got plenty of olive oil when you do your second round, of course, as some will have been absorbed by the breadcrumbs. So see you in about 10 minutes. And they're done. And also, just to show you, I have made a few smaller ones so that you can see the difference. They will all taste the same, but depending on who is eating and how big the mouth is. If you've got children, you might want to do them smaller. And by the way, this recipe, amongst other very similar recipes, is going straight into the young ones, which is a playlist where food designed specifically for children is all together. So it's very hot, but I'll taste one. I think somebody can already give us a judgment. As whenever Julie films with me, she always tastes before. What is it like, Julie?
Lovely.
Like?
I've been testing the lovely little bits in the middle.
Oh, it's very hot, but it's delicious. You can definitely taste the texture of the chard, and also the lentils. They are really delicious. The only thing I would say that they could benefit from is a little salt, but you can always add. It's difficult to take it away. So I'm very pleased with it. Are you, Julie?
Yeah, they were lovely.
Good. Well, thank you for watching, and buon appetito as always. Ciao, ciao.